Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Muslim Teens Show. Today we're going to be talking on balancing faith and school. We find out that as Muslim teenagers and students, we really don't know how we could balance our Western education at the same time following and practicing Islamic principles. We're so confused, it's so stressful. I don't know how I'm going to pray when I'm in class. I don't know how I'm going to carry out my school things at the same time. How am I going to read my Quran? We don't really know how we could balance our faith and our school life. We don't know how we could carry out our school activities and at the same time following Islamic teachings and principles. But what if I tell you that there are some certain tips, little tips that you could follow and you carry out your school life at the same time you're doing your Islamic teachings the right way? As we know in Islam, actions are birthed by intentions. Innama a'malu binniyah. So make sure that whatever thing you want to do, always have this intention. If it's your school life, your working life, your career, always have this intention that no matter what I'm doing, I'm always going to follow my Islamic teachings. I'm always going to respect Islamic principles. Before you sleep, before the next day of school, always plan out your day. Plan out, know that tomorrow I'm going to do this before Fajr. I'll wake up before Fajr and pray my tahajjud. After Fajr, I'm going to do some little things at home, take a bath, eat my breakfast, go to school. Make sure that you plan your day before that day occurs so that you see that you're not just following Islamic principles or practicing your school life, you're also managing your time, using your time wisely. Make sure that everything you do should always revolve around your salah. As we know, as Muslims, the first thing that will be judged on the day of judgment is our salah. So make sure that everything that you have to do, be it your school life or just simple daily activities, it should always revolve around your salah. Know that I might wake up before Fajr and do my homework. If I came back I was tired, even though it's not really advisable, always do your homework before sleeping. After Fajr, I'm going to prepare breakfast. I'm going to eat my breakfast. After Zuhu or before Zuhu is break, make sure that everything that you're planning out should always revolve around your salah. Also, we might be thinking that, but in my school, there's no place to pray. You don't give me the time to pray, or sometimes just give us 5 or 10 minutes, and you're like, how am I going to use 5 minutes to pray? When do I do my wudu? When am I going to pray? When am I going to relax? But you could still manage your time. When it comes to doing your wudu in school, you really don't have to do all the multiple steps. When I say multiple steps, I mean washing your hands 3 times, your face 3 times, removing your scarf or your hijab and washing your face. No, in Islam, the minimum amount of time that we could wash the various parts, the various limbs of our body during wudu is 1 time. What does that mean? Instead of washing your hands 3 times, you could just wash your hand 1 time, wash your arm 1 time, your face 1 time, but making sure that while doing this only once, each part of that body should be wet. Your hands should be wet. Even if you're washing your hands just 1 time, it should get totally wet. And also you're like, how am I going to remove my hijab around all these people, or the time I'll take to remove my hijab before putting it back is going to take like 2 or 3 minutes. No, you really don't have to remove your hijab. In Islam, the minimum amount of hair that has to get wet during your wudu is 3 cents. So instead of removing your hijab and wiping all of your hair, you could simply just wet your hands, send your hand behind your hijab, and just make sure you wipe the part of the hair there. Yes, you don't have to take a ruler and start measuring your hair. No, it's okay, it's fine that way. And sometimes you find out that most of us, we don't really like removing our socks or our shoes and making wudu, washing our feet in front of people. Like, it feels so inconvenient, uncomfortable. So what do? In this case, once you wake up for Fajr and you want to perform your wudu, after performing your wudu, just put on a socks, a thick socks. It shouldn't be an ankle socks, it should be a long socks, and it should be thick in the sense that if you wet your hand and wipe it over your socks, water shouldn't penetrate. Once you perform your wudu, immediately put on your socks, and throughout the day while you're performing your wudu again, you really don't have to remove your socks and wash your feet. No, you can always just wipe your hands and pass it over your feet, and that's it. But make sure that this socks should be thick and it shouldn't be an ankle socks. But if you are in a school where they provide you enough time and a place to perform your swala, then mashallah, that's great. Also, if you are in schools where they really don't give you any time at all, they don't give you the 5 or the 10 minutes, you don't have time, what you do is once you get back home, you perform your swala first thing. Yes, you perform your swala, or maybe if you're really hungry, you could eat your food, then you perform your swala. Do not perform your swala when you are in hunger. Why? Because when you're in your swala, you're not going to be concentrated on that swala. You're going to be thinking of this food. Your mind, your whole body is just going to be on your food. You're even having to finish your swala so that you can go ahead and eat. If you see that you are really hungry, that you won't concentrate on your swala, then make sure you eat and then you perform your swala. Also, in some schools, we always have these 2 or 5 minutes after every period that they give us. Within these 2 or 5 minutes, sometimes if your class was really stressful, you could wake up, you move around, you do the hijra, you move up and down, you relax your mind. Or if the class wasn't really that intense, you could sit down by yourself. You don't have to necessarily be discussing with your friends during that 2 to 5 minutes. You can be doing your zikri, or maybe there's this ayah in the Quran or this surah that you've been trying to memorize. You could just keep on reciting it in your head, or sometimes you could just rest. Just sit on your seat, your school seat, you put down your head and you rest. So this is a way that you use this your 5 minutes break. Whilst you don't always have to use it for certain discussions and all. No. And the last tip I'm going to give you is always remain calm. Do not burn out yourself. Do not stress up yourself because of school. Always stay calm. And once you plan out your day, you're going to find out that while following this plan, you're not going to be stressing up. You have your time that you perform this task. You have your time that you go on your social media to rest. You have your time that you're doing your homework. You have your time that you're performing your swala. And remember that anything that you do should always revolve around your swala. This makes you to always stay consistent on your swala and your daily tasks that you have written down in your planner. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.